As tonight, Hope Universal Life Film Theater. We start every film with a little praise and worship and prayer and meditation. So pray with us if you would and meditate upon godly things.
Lord, I offer up this rebel heart. So stubbornness, so restless from the start. I don't wanna fight you anymore. So take this rebel heart and make it yours. Father, I no longer wanna run. You've broken my resistance with your love and drowned it underneath the crimson spill. So bend this rebel heart into your will. I give it over to you. I give it over to you. Your love is like an edge, steady and true. And now this rebel heart belongs to you. Help me lay the renegade to rest. Turn the stone aside, get back to flesh. And hold me till my best defenses fall. And watch this rebel heart surrender. I give it over.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Hope Universal Life Film Theater. This week's feature film, A Father's Power. How dads share us for better
Shape
or worse.
us.
Shape us for better or worse. I'm sorry, I can't really see it there. At Hope Retreat Ranch in God's beautiful mountains of East Tennessee, you see the website, www.hoperetreattheranch.org. Our phone number is 423-973-1114. Call now to make your reservations to join us live for upcoming films. Next Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, join us on our live streaming video platform. What They Don't Want You to Know, Conspiracies. Go to our home at Hope Retreat. You see the website or call us at the ranch, 423-973-1114 for info and getting the link. Hope Universal Life Film Theater, a place to come and enjoy a film with a redemptive story and discuss the redemptive value. Every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, join us live through our live streaming video platform for a film which takes on life's tough questions that people do not like talking about with just anyone. So we provide a safe place to discuss among friends.
Well, welcome to this week's feature, A Father's Power, How Dads Shape Us. For better or worse. Who's got a clue? Where are we going with this?
For better.
Father's shaping me.
Well, you know, we live in a culture today where many homes are fatherless. So, we'll jump right into it, but I wanted to give you some previews for the upcoming shows over the next few weeks so you don't miss out. Be sure to call us at 423-973-1114 to get a live link so you don't miss nothing. Okay?
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for joining us and enjoy these previews. Alright, let's look at this trailer. This is next week. Conspiracy theories.
There's been this holdback from underneath the president. If there is a they, then certainly it's the Black Ops, it's the CIA, it's the Homeland Security, those sort of people. It would be the departments set up within one of those branches that specifically deals with this issue. Some of the things that you feel to be the most unlikely conspiracies are the ones that have got the fact in them.
About a heroin
It
addict
just
next door.
slowly started to consume me. It is an unbelievable feeling, and it's alluring. By the time you know you're in trouble, it's too late.
Double.
You know, you can get it delivered to your house if you want to, and it's about $15 a balloon.
That looks interesting. What do you guys think? And what about a day in the life of the hidden homeless?
I graduated school a year ahead of time. I wound up buying my own home. I worked 2 full-time jobs. Everything seemed to be on the right track. We wound up having a tornado. We lost everything. So that's how we wound up homeless. Not every situation of homelessness is because you're a bad parent.
Finally, for the month of April, I lived in a dumpster.
My mom was pretty much drunk 99% of the time. I remember one time when I thought she was dead because she wouldn't wake up. It was like that for most of my childhood. When the cops came to remove me from the home, my mom came out into the lawn and she was grabbing the grass and screaming and begging me not to leave her. I knew I had to leave. I couldn't live like that. I ended up staying with friends, and then fathers of my friends would try to molest me. I heard one time one of my friend's moms say to her, "She can't stay here. Where's her parents?" We had learned in class or something that decomposing trash creates heat. And so I realized that if you sleep in a dumpster, as long as you are under cardboard or newspaper, you shouldn't be too cold. So I decided just to move into the trash can behind my high school. I was determined to succeed.
Well, what do you guys think?
Sounds like a pretty good film. Coming out.
I find Life Tree's always fun.
Yeah.
I like the one.
This is a good place to come if you want
The
to.
heroin addict. I want to see that one.
The what?
My next door.
Heroin addict next door. We got heroin addicts to live with us.
Not no
At the
more.
Hope Retreat Recovery Ranch.
Not no more.
No?
One.
They're healed here.
But I wouldn't do it just because you're healed.
Where did that come from?
Just like alcohol, you won't want to drink.
Anyway, this is a
Thank
good, safe place to come and discuss some of life's tough questions and see a good film to boot. Tonight is the impact that fathers have over fathers' power, for better or worse. I think you'll enjoy this. Unfortunately, because of time constraints, anyone who may be seeing this video online or on television, we're limited in space. So I would encourage you to join us on our live streaming video platform so you can get involved in the conversation and get involved in the whole event. So, I haven't had a chance yet to go over this evening's notes, but we'll try to get started here. Today we're talking about a father's power. How dads shape us, for better or worse. There was a time, not so long ago, when conventional wisdom held that the job of a father was to provide income and to love and support a child's mother. The relationship that really mattered, that really shaped a child, was between the mother and a child. Dad was expected to change the occasional diaper, take Junior to the playground now and then, and that was about it. You remember that time? Us old folks remember.
I remember it.
Yet research shows fathers have a huge impact on their children, even if those fathers aren't in the picture. Just a moment. Changing slides. Children whose fathers are present and involved from birth tend to be more emotionally secure, more confident in exploring their surroundings, have better relationships with others as they grow. Dads often support independence, which helps when children head off to school or into the neighborhood. With an involved father in the picture, children are less likely to experience depression, to lie, and to get into trouble at home or elsewhere. Fathers who are present and engaged have a profound positive impact on the development and health of their children. And when dads aren't engaged, the benefits they would have provided are gone. And that has an impact as well, though not a positive one. Hey, you're missing these slides, but that's okay. The truth is, many fathers want to be engaged with their kids. According to the Pew Research Center, since 1965, the amount of time fathers spend with their children has nearly tripled. And in 2011, the largest study of singles ever undertaken showed that young unmarried men wanted children slightly more than young unmarried women wanted children. Contrary to the stereotype, all young men aren't dreading the day children arrive on the scene. Befriending fathers, if there's one thing they almost universally do, is this. All fathers seem to give advice, whether they're present or they're not present, don't they?
Yeah.
Maybe you've heard or given some of these classic bits of dad advice.
Don't spit in the wind.
Don't spit in the wind. When I was your age. This is usually said to children who can't imagine their dads were ever their age.
No, not you, Dad. There's no way.
What about, don't make me come back there? The all-purpose, you sit anywhere vague threat.
You said that to me yet?
Don't make me come back there. Don't make me come down there, y'all's trailer. What do you think money grows on trees?
You said that one.
We need this, we need that. That's effective with a 5-year-old.
I wonder it works so good on me.
How about this one? As long as you're living under my roof.
Oh, God.
And here's an all-time favorite dad line when things get complicated or emotional.
Go ask your mother.
Huh?
Go ask your mother.
Go ask Mom.
Did you know? Did you see it or did you know?
You've never seen this.
A question for you to talk about in your group. What's the saying you heard from your dad or your mom when you were growing up? Now we open it up to you, our viewing audience. Email me directly at drrkmax@yahoo.com.
My mama says you got the same virtues to get glide in,
That's when you were mad, huh?
and now with the pets, I said you got the same power to get glide in. Don't make me take that belt off, young lady.
Yeah.
When you hear the strap, you hear.
Don't make me get after you with this switch.
Mm-hmm. You think I'm playing?
My dad used to tell me when I was lying, don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining.
When you were lying,
If I was feeling with
no favorites.
Oh, I got one where I had to go out and get my own switch off the peach tree.
How a peach tree switch differ from other trees?
It's just the one that she wanted me to get.
Oh,
I've done that myself.
We had a peach tree in our backyard.
so it's convenient.
Mhm.
I remember one day we lived on a creek, and
Oh,
I was not supposed to go past where our property ended on the creek. And there was a long valley back behind our
Was I
place.
looking out the front window through the...
Well, I was way up the creek. And I seen my mother coming up through the valley. She had a whole tree. Stripping off switches.
you ran, didn't you? Look at my face. Look at my face. I'm not laughing. As we
Yeah.
start laughing,
Yeah.
and we try not to make her laugh.
Well, thanks for digging into our backdrop there, our background. Into the archives to retrieve some of those classic quotes. Okay. At our little theater, you can come as you are. Though most of us are followers of Jesus, you can come if you're an atheist, you can come no matter what. If you're Muslim, black or white or green or tan or whatever you are, we're all in this together. And that's especially true today because for better or worse, we all have stories about fathers. And God is here ready to connect in a brand new way. I'm aware for some of us, our fathers were our heroes. But maybe some of us had a different experience with our fathers. Our fathers were absent, neglectful, and perhaps even abusive. I don't know your story when it comes to your father, but I do know this. Whether your father was a good dad or a bad dad, he had an impact. And it's that impact we'll be exploring today. To get us started, I'd like you to create something in your group. Now I'm supposed to hold up a piece of paper.
Hold up any paper. You hold up one right
That's
now.
supposed to be an octagon.
I know. I didn't. I'll bet we did this.
Now, if you would take 60 seconds to make one of these,
I can't make them anyway.
a
So.
crane, some kind of crane. You may have seen these. They're some cranes and have become symbols of peace and happiness. We're to take 60 seconds to see if you can fold your sheet of paper to look like that. Okay, and then everyone holds it up. The question for us, as a whole group, how did that experience feel? Do we know what they're talking about here?
What is that? Where you fold that paper and it's called something. It's an
Origami.
art to it, huh?
Origami.
Origami.
Origami, yeah.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's origami's like it's kind of like a tension relief thing.
It's like a what?
Like it relieves tension. Like it.
You can make things. Japanese are really some of the Japanese
Yeah.
use it for.
They do this one.
Yeah, make paper airplane, make birds, all sorts of
You
things.
can make anything.
Okay. Well, they're talking about cranes.
Yeah, it's a bird.
Well, you
Make
make
a bird with a long neck.
Alright. And have become symbols of peace and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody know anything about that?
No.
Huh?
No.
Yeah, I do now.
Oh, okay. Well, let's pretend we all made one of these. Look around the room and see how we did. The question, how did the experience feel? And call out some words that describe how you were feeling during that minute of crane construction.
Frustrated, because I won't be able to make it. So.
You know what we would have experienced?
Frustration. Oh, you're not asking me.
I told you I didn't do my homework on this one. How was that experience like what men face when they become fathers?
Maybe try to form it into the way you want it to.
Maybe they don't know exactly what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, basically, my experience is working 60 hours a week. So when I got home, it's either the kids were doing something else, or I was too tired to do anything with them.
So you really didn't know what to become.
And then when I did have time off to play with them or something like that, I mean, usually it was go out and play in the yard, such like that. Then their friends would come over and
Then you're nobody. They want to go play with their friends.
yeah. So,
Not that you're nobody, but
well, it's just basically and then their mom had a home with them, so trying to figure out, okay, what's the routine here, and what's he crying about now? You know, what is he?
Yeah.
Or
But the just is we don't really know what
shape it would take.
What shape to take. Are we supposed to be counselor? Are we supposed to be judge, giver, or discipliner, or?
yeah, I sort of, basically I really didn't discipline that much, because usually it was basically stuff that I thought was funny, but their mom said, "Oh, it's not funny." That's what you do. But
Right. Let's see what's going to be here. This is kind of a confusing little thing today.
4 minutes.
Men who become fathers, that's what that thing's supposed to look like.
oh, okay, I know what that is. No, I would have gotten really frustrated.
Yeah, well.
So what?
Okay, we're going to take a look. An interview, part 1.
Standing in the east side right here, about 5 blocks up is where I grew up in a time era when gangbanging was
This is Mark's interview.
really prominent through these parts. They really fixed these neighborhoods up well, and I'm grateful for that, and it's changed a lot. Well, growing up, I really, like I look back and I try to really think back, and I can't really recall a time where like I was really engaged and really active with my father, and I watched other children like going out with their fathers, going fishing, going to a game, spending time with them, and being encouraged by them. And I looked for that as I was growing up, and I couldn't find it. My mom and dad had got divorced when I was about 8 years old. Like I knew, like when it came time to find my father, I could find him at the bar. Get up in the morning, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and he was already gone. I never really had that male role model, that father figure in my life to play that part, to tell me like, son, you're 9 years old, and so now you're responsible for cleaning your room and you're gonna help with the dishes. Like I feel like I'm self-raised. My memories aren't like the average memory. Like, you know, when I was 13, like I was smoking weed or I was drinking, and you know, to me, like that was a good time, you know, and like hanging out, and you know, like if we had, you know, a little bit of money, we could get someone to go to the liquor store for us. Like that's what I learned. You know, that was what I was accustomed to. You know, that's what I grew up. That was the normality of it.
You feel me?
Wanting that father figure, wanting somebody in my life to just give me guidance, like I never found it. A lot of my friends, my mutual friends that I had grew up with, we had that bond where they didn't have their father in their life either. And like my brother had joined the gang, like I loved him, you know, and I wanted to care for him. And so I as well had joined the gang at the age of 13. I remember running through this field right here, pretty much running through this field for my life. I was being chased by like 4 Crips, and they were shooting at me. And I was wearing red, you know, I was gang banging, and you know what I mean? Like it's like this is survival mode. My life, as far as like legally, kind of went on a down spiral. I started getting involved in selling drugs and stealing cars, breaking into houses. At the age of 17, I was charged. Well, I was given a 16-year sentence, and on that 16-year sentence, I ended up doing 12 years, 8 months, and 23 days. During my time in prison, my father came to visit me one time while I was incarcerated, and he came and visit me, and he told me he was sorry. Even to this day, like I really can recall that heartfelt apology, because like this is where it landed. Like needing that role model.
Well, that's part of Mark's story. Men who become fathers know what they want to accomplish. They want to raise the world's greatest kids. But while they have a picture in their minds of the outcome thereafter, they may have no idea how to get there. It's like having a picture of a perfect, what do they call those things?
Origami.
Origami.
Yeah.
Frame, but no directions. You just got a picture of it. Okay, that's the
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to make those in school, and I never was able to.
So many dads make it up as they go. They're flying blind, especially those dads who didn't have a father around when they were growing up. So, we're going to get back to Mark again in a few minutes, but just a question for us now as a group. What's your reaction to Mark and his story of growing up with the father he had?
I'll call it.
Absentee.
I'll call it family curse.
Same story.
Hmm?
Same thing.
Same
At least he
thing.
got one visit in prison. I never got one.
Well, you know, the first thing I thought was my stepfather, which pretty much raised me, that I had real problem with all growing up, and until after he's dead, until I reconciled that relationship with God and prayerfully him. He grew up by an absentee father, alcoholic. Though he had no example of how to be a father, and he could be a real butthole at times. But still, now looking back after forgiving him, he did the best he knew how to do. You know what I mean? For better or worse, our fathers shape us. What they say, what they do, or what they don't say and do leaves a mark. Fathers shape how we feel about ourselves and the world. In a moment, I'll ask you to tell the people in your group about how your father shaped you, for better or worse. We're going to get deep here tonight, aren't we?
No.
Have you seen that impact play out in your life? I just told you, as for me, one way I can see how my father shaped me. You want to share?
Well, basically, he spent as much time as he could with me, but had four people that pretty much took care of me all the time. I mean, I was my siblings,
Well, in counseling earlier, I mean, you come from a pretty decent family.
Yeah.
So how coming from a decent father, how did that help shape you? That's
Well, I think it just probably gave me a little bit more of a maybe a sense of responsibility, keeping like a job and
How to be a father?
and knowing how to be a father.
yeah.
That's what I just said. You just
And
said
keeping commitments.
Oh.
What about you, Michael?
It's kind of the same story. He was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and never was around much. I he would call and say that he was going to come pick me up and take me somewhere, and I'd wait on the corner all day for him. He'd never show up. Or he got me I remember one Christmas he did pick me up. And he got me like one of them boom boxes, radios. We called them boom boxes back in the day. And
So how did that shape your life, for better or for worse?
it probably had something to do with me going to prison like God did.
So maybe you were reminded what a gift your father was in your life, and you appreciate how he shaped you. That's kind of you and me, huh? Or maybe you shared a more difficult story. Either way, thank you for giving each other the gift of those stories and the gift of hearing each other. I love that kind of thing happens here. Week after week. And that we can have conversations that really matter. So let's join Mark again and hear about a transformation in his life. That transformation came not because of his gang or even because of the time he served in prison. What changed him? Well, here's Mark's story and his transformation.
I specifically remember while I was in 23-hour lockdown, it was crazy because I can recall these dreams and my dreams were specific that I'd had a daughter. It gave me hope that I was destined to be a father one day. Upon my release, I had caught up and ran into a friend that I grew up with. We ended up getting a place and we had a daughter. My world, not only did it come to a halt, but I felt like my world, life it started for me anew. You talk about purpose, you talk about direction. I was called to be a father. Personally knowing what it is not to have a father, I wanted her to have everything I didn't, and be that guiding force
She's a
in
pretty
her
little
life.
girl, isn't she?
Yeah, I love
So
her.
my daughter was about 3 years old when her mom and I separated. I just really felt our paths just going in different directions. Darlene's mom and I had agreed that it'd be best that she lived with her mom for right now till I had stabilized. So, you know, I would go visit her. I'd get off work. I'd rush over there. And it got to a point where I'd stop by and, you know, my daughter didn't look too hot. Someone within the family had called me and told me that I needed to see about getting custody of my daughter. I got custody of my daughter, you know, within 2 to 3 months.
Wow, must have been serious.
I have a daughter who is amazing and like is opinionated, is strong-willed, and so like it's been that bumpy road, and like it's a tug of war, but it's been an adventure that I wouldn't trade for anything. You know, like I get up in the morning, I hear her, or she's hiding under my bed, waiting to scare me. So there's times, come here, man, and there's times where, you know, like that's why I wake up. You know, that's why I wake up every morning. That's why I do what I do. What I do is because of that. And I'm grateful. I've been called not only to be a father to my daughter, but to be that role model and to be that guiding force in her life that I never had.
Okay. Question now. What's your reaction to Mark now and the father he's become?
Quite transformation.
I didn't carry him out in the beginning.
God showed him how to be a father.
Well, in the beginning, I thought, well, I always thought of my father as kind of weird anyway. But I couldn't imagine him being my father. But he seemed to really love his little girl, didn't he?
You never know what kind of gift you got until you unwrap it.
Huh?
So you never know what kind of gift you got until you unwrap it.
He loves his baby. And he must have had a transformation because he got full custody of his baby, of his child.
Yeah?
And he didn't run from it. And he's changed because it sounds like she was abused. And first thought went to my head is I bet he wanted to kill the son of a gun who's hurting his daughter.
Right. Well, I love seeing Mark pull his daughter close and seeing him tear up. His daughter seemed to feel so protected and safe with her daddy nearby. Even though Mark never had that sort of relationship with his biological father, he told us he found it with another father.
He didn't tell us that yet.
Watch this.
I was in the halfway house. That's when I came to know God, and that's when my world was just changed. I just remember crying, like, and it was a sweet surrender. Like 36 years of just survival mode. Like, I surrendered. Do I look at God as the Father? Yeah, I do. That is Abba. That is my Father. Like, I incorporate that and I surround myself with godly people. Like, I'm a firm believer in that my decisions will determine my destiny. And the father figures that I've placed in my life are all godly men, and they encourage me. You know, not first and foremost, not to seek their counsel, but to seek God's counsel. You know, and talk to God. So today we are putting on the 4th annual Father's Day picnic, and gentlemen who are incarcerated into a halfway house setting they're getting a chance to reconnect with their families. Some of these guys haven't seen their daughters or their sons 2-3 years. I think there's a few gentlemen who haven't seen their children in 7 or 8 years. You know, so this is an awesome time and a powerful moment. All the volunteers that are here today are here, giving back to them and showing them what it's like, to be a godly father. What it's like to just be able to pour into your family, to love them. I'm grateful to God where He has me in this season, because He's given me the ability, because I've walked through it and I've gone through it, to be able to give back to the community and help these gentlemen who are in the halfway house to become fathers. To know, if they don't know what it's like to be a father, to show them wise decisions to make, what the sacrifices that I've had to go through. And I'm grateful for the men in my life who are steps ahead of me, because they give me my guidance. It's, the Bible talks specifically about seeking, counsel of the wise. And where I'm at in life, being able to give back to the people who might not know, like, I'm all about that. I'm all about that.
Maybe you notice Mark referred to God as Abba.
Which means father, daddy.
Abba is an Arabic word that translates as daddy. It describes the loving, intimate, trusting relationship between a young child and that child's daddy. Abba is a word Mark would never use to describe his earthly father. But it is a word he uses to describe God, and Mark considers his heavenly father.
His dad, his daddy.
That may or may not be a word you'd use to describe God. That is one that Jesus used and Mark uses, and a word that God seems to relish. God and earthly fathers. In the Bible, God describes himself as a father, and that presents a problem. If you're among the people who, like Mark, struggle with your biological dad, why would you want another father? Right?
Yeah.
Why would you trust God any more than you trust your earthly dad? It seems our fathers shape how we view ourselves, our world, and God. A question for our group. In what ways, if any, do your feelings about your biological father color your feelings about God? For better or worse, what's the impact there?
For me, it's better. He took my dad. My dad took care of me.
Mm-hmm. You know how fortunate you are in our culture today?
Yep.
My father took care of me. Though there were many times I despised him. You see, he was, as the psychologists would say, he's mentally ill too. And you know what his mental illness is? Anybody?
Narcissist?
He's an adult child of an alcoholic.
I didn't want to answer because I knew it, baby.
Go figure. So I guess it's his father that caused him to have a mental illness. Right? What about you, Michael? You didn't have a good deal with your father. How does it color your feelings about God?
It was for the better because he was placed in my life for the work to bring me closer to God.
For the better then?
For the better.
Did you have a problem with God for a while because of your...
Rather,
Well, you can tell me, just yes or no.
yes.
Okay. Here's the thing about our Father's ability to shape us. They do. But as Mark said, our decisions determine our destiny. And one decision that Mark made that opened up healing and hope in his life was to see God differently from how he saw his biological father. To look at God with fresh eyes. Unless the men who filled the father role in your life have been perfect, and I'm guessing they all somewhere short of that, it might be a useful decision for you to make too. If it's okay with you, I'd like to ask God to help us see him clearly. And welcome your assistance with that. I'm supposed to now pick up the piece of crumbled, what do they call those?
Origami.
Yeah. As I pray, I'll ask you to do several things with your praying. I'll make sure you know what they are as we go. God, we know that on earth there is no perfect fathers. There are only broken, imperfect people, some of whom become dads. We know the faults of our fathers. We know how they shaped us, sometimes not for the best. And as you think about how your earthly father has shaped you, run your fingers along the sharp edges and creases of your crane. And if you can, pray for your father.
I do.
Then we're to thank God that you are the perfect Father, that you perfectly know us and perfectly love us.
Yes.
Thank you for the hope and healing you brought into Mark's life, and we ask that you bring hope and healing into ours as well. Please guide fathers, God. And that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed how fathers shape us, for better or for worse. But there's one Father, Abba, our Heavenly Father, who wants to only shape us for our own good. We hope to see you next week. What do we have next week?
Conspiracies.
Nope.
Conspiracies.
I thought we were going to not do that.
I think everybody enjoyed that.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, come, fill our hearts anew, till we are consumed with more of you.